Hi guys, I'm Kate Ferdinand and you're listening to Blended, the podcast all about blended families. I've got two amazing co-hosts, Cilla and Nathalie, and we just get into it about blended families really. You send in your dilemmas and we talk about it. We try and give you some good advice. Sometimes it's great, sometimes we disagree, and sometimes we have a little cry. But here we are again. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hello.
Oh, what accent was that, Hans?
I don't know, innit?
Well, she's switching it up.
Switching it up.
How are you feeling, ladies?
All right. The sun's coming out, starting to feel like I can live and survive.
Yeah, honestly, the change in my mood, my attitude, my mental health, as soon as there is a glimmer of sunshine and warmth and the cherry blossoms are out, that makes me really happy.
Do you know, this is controversial,
Sneeze.
but I'm not a lover of the sun.
What?
I used to love sun, but now it just is quite frustrating. It adds pressure to me. I feel like I've got to be ready for summer. I'm not ready for summer yet. Does that make sense?
No.
No.
Oh.
I'm so sorry.
Like I've got to be body ready. I've got to be...
You put on a dress, flip-flops, hair done, off we go.
Got to add, I do like the sun if I'm in a bikini sitting by the swimming pool with a cocktail.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, I don't love it
In this country.
in this country.
In the
Got
concrete
it.
jungle.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. All
But
right.
it's t-shirt weather, so we're okay.
Yeah, definitely. How have you been,
You've both
Kate?
got your t-shirts on. The t-shirt weather.
How have you been,
Yeah,
Kate?
I'm good.
Yeah?
All good. Busy, you know. Looking forward to seeing you two and talking about this
Absolutely.
dilemma that I've got here. Are
Yes.
you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Right, okay. I've been with my husband for 8 years. We came into the relationship with 2 children each. They're now between 9 and 11, and we've built a life together that looks really strong from the outside. But the truth is, we don't want to be together anymore. There's been so much between us, resentment, disconnect, and just growing apart. And if it was just the two of us, I think we'd have walked away by now. But our kids are so close. They call each other siblings. They share everything. And my son, he's so attached to my husband. As far as he's concerned, that's his dad. The idea of telling him we're splitting up makes me feel sick. I honestly believe he'd choose to stay with him, and that thought breaks my heart. So we're actually considering something I never thought I'd say. We're thinking about staying in the same house as housemates until the kids are 18. I don't know if this is the right thing or if we're just scared. How do you separate a relationship without shattering your family?
Impossible.
Sad that, isn't it?
Did she say that? She didn't say the ages of the children, did she?
They're now between 9 and 11.
Oh,
So there's
between
4
9
of them between 9 and 11. That's a lot, isn't it? It's really hard.
Yeah.
I feel so sad.
I know. Because you never get into a relationship thinking that you're not going to be together forever. That's the reason you're together. And when a family splits, it is so difficult.
It's devastating.
Devastating.
This is going to be a hot take, yeah. But I do honestly feel like being married, like legally married, not culturally or anything like that, legally married or what is legal within the country you live in and having children are good anchors for couples. Because absolutely, why wouldn't you just walk away if you weren't married with kids? And I'm not saying like children should be seen as anchors, but I do feel like the weight of the devastation that it could cause children is a good thing for couples when they're going through hardship, because sometimes we need things to make us stand firm and duke it out. Like,
But
we
they're not
have to
happy.
fight for it. I know, but
At all.
happiness is a fleeting emotion. Do you know what I mean? I feel like when it comes to like splitting a family, saying that you're not happy is not, I don't think that's a good enough reason. It has to be deeper than that, because emotions, they fluctuate, they are fleeting, they are subject to change. And surely you love someone in spite of your emotions. Because sometimes sometimes I don't like my husband, sometimes I'm not happy with my husband, sometimes I'm not talking to my husband, but I still love him. And I'm not saying that these two don't love, I'm not saying that these two don't love each other,
Sorry.
because they probably do still love each other. But I just feel like I would rather it be a really difficult thing than it be easy to like break up a family with
Do you
kids
think that?
in. I'd rather you struggle than do it with ease.
I don't think I agree. I think if you have really, really tried and you guys know that you don't want to be together and we've gone through a lot of different stages of trying, then as someone whose parents divorced when I was really young, I was 3 and my mum and dad divorced, I think that's the best thing that happened for me because I wouldn't want to live in a house where there was like
Hard
tension,
feelings.
hard feelings.
Yeah.
I know a few people that have lived in a house like that where the parents have stayed together until the kids are 18,
And it wasn't
thinking it's the
good.
best thing, but the children end up resenting their parents, blaming the mum for staying. That I think sometimes the idea of breaking up a family, it is so scary. And you think that staying together is the best option because you don't want to break the family. But sometimes staying together breaks the family even more
Yeah.
in the long run.
Yes, it is sometimes, because I know couples on the flip side as well, but I don't disregard the stories of adult children who have said, my mum was happier when she left my dad and I was happier. I was happy for my mum. And that's hard.
Have you heard the, I don't know where this research came from, but I've seen it a few times floating around on Instagram. Okay, University of Instagram. But it says that an indication of a child's, one of the key indicators of a thriving and happy adult is that a child grew up in an environment with a happy mother.
Yes, I've seen that.
Yeah. And honestly, when you said about happiness, your happiness being almost like being secondary, I was like, something in me was just like, I could not imagine not living in a joyful household. It would break me. Like it would physically break me to live in a home where I'm unhappy every
And that's
single
going to
day.
spiral onto the children.
Yeah.
And I do think also, as much as our children are our everything, and they really are, we want to do what's best for them, you just have one life to live. I wouldn't want to live my life completely unhappy. And I wouldn't want my children to see me doing that. Like for me, I want my girls especially to see that you've got to do what's right for you that makes you happy. I don't want them to see that settling for unhappiness is the option.
Or like the modelled relationships that the children are growing up. And do you know what? This is the assumption, because mum and dad could stay together and actually find a lot of joy because they're like, pressure's off. We're not in a relationship. We're just cohabiting and raising these children together. If they're mature enough and amicable, like aligned within themselves enough to do that and still create a happy home, then great. But if the children are growing up in an environment where there's a lot of resentment, a lot of tension, that they're going to be the primary relationships that are modeled to those children. So when they grow up to be adults, highly likely that they are going to recreate those relationships in their lives. And I think that's more damaging to a child than
But that's
than
that's
breaking
kind
up.
of like what I mean, because that scenario that you just described, you wouldn't necessarily say that anyone's actually happy, but they are working together.
What, the like raising the children? Yeah,
Yeah.
no, but you can find happiness and not be I would hope that there would be a situation where they could find happiness but not be in a relationship, right?
Yeah.
Because they accept, like, we're not in a relationship, we're just doing this. This is like an arrangement. This is like a bit, like, you're out in the evening, you're doing your thing, you come.
I think that's cool, right?
Yeah.
Until someone meets someone else. So I think it's all good if they've got their arrangement, they're deciding to live together for the sake of the children and they're getting on, and that's fine. However, number one, children pick up on a lot of things.
True.
So if you're now not sleeping in the same room, why you're not sleeping with daddy, I'm sure the children will pick up on that. And I think that's all well and good until someone goes out, they meet someone new, they fall in love with someone else, and then where does that leave your situation at home?
True.
Then that might breed more resentment, more issues. And then I think, for me, the thought of breaking up a family is so scary, and doing it on your own is like my worst nightmare, really. Like the thought of that now is my worst nightmare. However, I don't think I would stay in a house with someone that I don't want to be with, because I'd want to be moving on to the next chapter of my life, and I'd want to be being as happy as possible and show my children that you don't have to be married.
Oh my gosh, it's
to
just
be
so
happy.
hard. It really it is so hard because there's so much research out there that says like children between the ages of 3 and I think 16 or 18, I can't remember, they are more adversely damaged from parents breaking up. And I feel like the way I love my children, can I be unhappy and find joy in my situation regardless, so that so they're not adversely impacted? Because this is what research shows, and I think this is why there's like a discomfort to being a single mom, or why like it takes so much effort and work to become a proud single mom, because we know innately it shouldn't be this way, and we know that there is something or some things that your children will miss out on when the other parent isn't there. And I don't mean there like as in us being a couple, but just being present in that child's life. And it's better in a home, like together. But having said that, I think, like I said, everything about my thoughts and my worldview is governed by my Christianity. And there is a distinction between happiness and joy. And it's like when you have joy in the Lord, that is not dependent on circumstances. So I can be like pregnant and have a really bad pregnancy, but I still have joy, kind of thing. And that's unshaken, unstirred. Like that stays with me. That's not temporal. But my happiness is, I'm happy today, I'm sad tomorrow, kind of thing. I can find reason always through my joy from the Lord, which is steadfast. But my happiness is it's like emotions are so hard to hold on to. And also they're subject to change, because you don't know when you're coming out of a hard season in a marriage, and then it's like the sun comes up and things begin to change. You don't know if you're just about to give up before a turn is made. And I think for this scenario, like it's hard to comment if we don't know if they've been to couples therapy, if they, like what they've tried and how hard they've tried and what is the miscommunication here. Like it's hard to comment, but assuming that they have tried everything, I feel like can you not find joy while raising your children together for the sake of the children? And listen, I know it's such a hot take. I know there's going to be loads of people that are saying like, for the children, you should leave. And like, I get it. I'm honestly, for once, guys, well done. I'm so conflicted.
I think you said earlier that I can't remember your exact words, that you wouldn't want to cause more stress on your kids. That wasn't what you said. What was the word you said?
Adverse impact.
Yeah, you wouldn't want that kind of impact on your children by breaking up. But I think both breaking up and both staying in the house will impact your children in different ways.
But statistically, it's worse when you break up.
I think those statistics are inherently flawed, and I think they're very dangerous as well for what is predominantly single women raising children on their own, who are then made to feel like they are somehow putting their children in an adverse position because they're not with the father of their child.
I don't think it needs to be viewed that way, though.
But it always is.
But
these
I'm an only
statistics
child.
are only ever brought up in relation to women who are raising children on their own.
Yeah, but I was a single mum and I didn't view the research like that. I was raised by a single mum.
Yeah.
And it didn't feel like an attack.
But it is primarily used as an attack by misogynists on single women who are raising. In fact, that's every time I hear that research quoted, not every time, 95% of the time that I hear that research quoted, it's coming from some red pill podcast or some clip. Yeah, some clip from some misogynist online talking about how women are raising children in single parent homes and those children are statistically more likely to drop out of school and blah, 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 blah. The onus is always put on the mum. But I say that to say that I really get your point around joy and like faith, especially like having a relationship with God. But ultimately, if your day-to-day existence in your home is miserable, and your children are growing up in misery, it's really different. It's almost like gaslighting to be like,
I'm happy.
but my faith in the Lord will pull us through. It's like, no, mum, we're all depressed.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, as in you've got an overall sense of joy, which I have. I could have a terrible day, but in the heart, I'm happy. Same kind of thing. But I think, if you're unhappy, why live in a house when you're unhappy with someone and your kids are unhappy and they're feeling that? Like, I'm an only child and my mum's a single mum, and she brought me up from the age of 3 on my own, and it was so hard for her. But I have so much respect for her for leaving a situation that
was not good.
Yeah.
I think it's made me into the woman that I am and shaped me to be like a strong, independent woman, to make sure I've got stuff for myself. I do feel like I missed out on things, as in like having a dad in the house.
Well.
There's always going to be pros and cons. Like, I remember when I moved in with Rio and the boys, I'd never lived with a man ever. And I was just like, God, they do strange things. Don't they? Like, and I was a bit hard with certain things. Then I realised I've never lived with a man.
Yeah.
My husband, you're the first man I've ever lived with.
Yeah,
So I don't know your ways. Yeah, because my dad wasn't around.
Yeah.
So I didn't know types of things. I also think within my life that if a man was around, I might not have gone so off the rails when I was a child. My mum was trying her best to parent me and I was rebelling. And with 2 parents, I feel like it's slightly different. Well, for me, it might have been because my mum was trying to play good and bad cop. That's hard. When you've got 2 people in a relationship parenting, it's much easier to help each other out and one be good, one be bad.
Absolutely.
So I do think there are negative points, but overall, my mum and dad not being together, as I would say, was like one of the best decisions. I wouldn't want to live in an unhappy house.
Same.
Oh my gosh.
If my mum and dad stayed together, either one of us or both of us would be dead.
But I think that's incredibly different. Where there's any form of abuse, you gotta go.
And the statistics, like when we quote these statistics around single parent households, they're usually quoted in isolation. And if we look at the statistics of parents that have left because of abuse, whether physical or emotional, but it's financial, right? And it's always looked at in this silo, like they've just decided, oh no, we're done, it's over and we're going to part ways and I'm going to raise this child on my own. Like, I think what we can all agree on is that being a single parent is so difficult, right? And very few people would just choose that.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to choose that,
choose it.
Yeah, but they choose it
because not all choose it because of difficulty and strife, and because the ex is a narcissist. No, there are some women that are hyper independent, that are not cooperative, that make it hard for men. Sometimes the men leave. Do you know what I mean? And then you're a single mum, not necessarily because of what was done to you, but what you may have done. I think those statistics are for particular people. It does not apply to every single mum. Absolutely, it can't apply to every single mum. It's impossible. But there are some mums who are living out the consequences of their actions. And I think it's wrong if we act like mums are always the innocent party.
Oh, I don't think that at all. No. I don't think that.
Sometimes they do create single parent homes for their kids.
Absolutely. And that's what they've done, and they'll have to live with that. But I think
their children do.
And their children have to live with it, and they have to live with it as well. However, I also think back to where we're at with this dilemma, is she's not just worried about breaking up her and her husband and her biological children, that it's the breaking up of the step siblings that see each other as siblings. Now, I've just given a big speech about how if I wasn't happy, I would leave. And then I've thought about this, and I've thought it would pain me to break up the siblings because they're not they're step siblings, which
I
makes
just
it
don't want to be the
harder.
reason either. So like from a very selfish standpoint, I don't want to be the reason. It would be better for my husband to cheat on me, beat me, whatever. But for me to stand up and say, I cannot live like this anymore. I'm about to split our family in two, and everyone know that I was the reason why we are navigating this really hard season or seasons. I can't cope.
Do you think
will
it's
make me more
society as well then?
unhappy.
Because it's like, what do
No.
people think about?
No, I don't care what people think. I care about what my children think. That's what it is. In this scenario, I'm not once thinking about what my auntie might think, my mum might think, the church might think. I'm not thinking about that at all.
So it's your children being like, oh, dad left mum.
Mummy, why couldn't you stay?
Yeah,
Like,
but I think
Mummy, why
children
did
of a
we have
certain
to
age,
go?
I did think that when I was young. I just think, why did my
die.
mum and dad break up? I think like you get to a certain, even young, I was thinking they'll get back together. Like I used to think that maybe they'll get back together one day. Like,
Aww.
but now that once I got to like a certain age,
Yeah,
I
you
realised that
understood
actually
more.
that would be terrible for them to get back together. I don't even know. Sorry, mum and dad. Now that I look at you both, I don't even know how you were together. Like because your personalities, I just can't see it.
Yeah.
So I think we all have this kind of like brain when we're a child, up until you're about 7, when you're living in fairy tale land and you don't realise real life.
Yeah.
And then when you get over 7, it's when the brain kind of changes and you realise that life isn't a fairy tale and not everything is going to end out perfectly. And actually, they'll come to understand that. They'll come to understand mum left because she wasn't happy.
In this scenario, they're both unhappy, right?
They're both unhappy.
They're both unhappy.
Oh my God.
And what does she do? Does she carry on living in the house till the kids are 18? They're still going to have to break up then, by the way. They're still going to have to go through a process. Or does she leave?
It sounds like her and her husband are communicating well and are working out how to come to a compromise and maybe for the children, and maybe that would play out if they actually broke up, had 2 households, but co-parented in a really healthy way.
Yeah, I think that.
It sounds like they're capable of that.
To consider living with someone, well, the
she
kids
feels
are
like-
9 and 11, between 9 and 11. She feels safe to do that.
But she feels like her biological child would want to stay with
oh,
the
yeah, God, I forgot
stepdad.
about that bit.
I will,
But you could go between houses.
but it sounds like they want to be primarily
at the
resident house would be stepdad's house,
Yeah.
and I will visit my mum. Kill me then.
Yeah, that would kill me.
Mate.
That would kill me, actually. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, I forgot about that layer.
Let me die.
Build a granny flat.
If my to be honest with you, even the children that aren't biologically mine,
Because
even if they don't want to stay with
you're
me,
gonna stay here. You
I'd
visit
be
your
upset,
dads.
even though I'm not their mum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would be upset
And offended.
and offended.
I cook better. Where you going? Your dad's not going to do your hair like I do. You sure? Yeah, I don't know. Like, I also have a pride of being a mum as well. And I just feel like, it's really hard to talk about these things because I don't want like obviously biological mums are going to like probably feel me a bit more here. But it's like, I'm your mum and I bring something to you that nobody else can. You must stay. You need to say you came from me. You need to stay with me. And not even that you just came from me. It's like what I have to give you as a woman, you must stay with me. It's just, is that a pride? Like it is, it's a healthy pride kind of thing.
It's like a natural pride
it's not
that you
to
would want
degrade
your
fathers.
biological child to...
No, even my stepchildren, if they lived with me full time, like, you need me. But it's not to degrade like the father.
It is degrading the father.
It is, but I don't mean to.
Yeah.
I just feel like that's another layer of like, if we break up and even one child more is with the dad, it's just like, I wanted to leave him. I didn't want you lot to leave me.
Yeah, I'm with you. There's no way on earth However, like, I would want my children to live with their dad.
I mean,
I'm so
this is
sorry.
so
I just want
sad.
them.
I can't
want
take
them.
this.
Yeah.
I want my children.
But do you know what? Cameron came to live with his dad when he turned 18 because his mum and his dad recognised that that's what he needed.
You're
Sorry,
18, fly
16.
high.
Sorry, 16. So when he turned 16, he said, you know, I want to live with my dad. And between his mum and dad, they recognised at 16, his coming of age, he needed to be
around
with
the
his dad.
man.
Yeah.
And it wasn't about, it's not centering the
pride
feelings.
of the
I'm sure mum, I'm sure Cam's
achy.
mum's heart absolutely shattered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
seeing her baby leave the house.
gosh.
Yeah.
But she knew
That's what he needed.
that's what he needs.
That's a good mum.
He
She's a
needs,
good mum.
Yeah, she's an amazing
Not
mum.
this baby
That's
boy.
that's what he needed. And back to this dilemma. If her son wanted to live with his stepdad,
She would have to let him go.
yeah,
Because he's going to start acting out.
I'm a big
He's going to
fan
start
of
acting out.
allowing children within the limits of them being safe and well cared for, allowing children to choose what parent they live with
I agree.
and not dictating
Yeah, I just
to
feel
them.
like if you have split up the home,
But she's not splitting up the home. It's a joint
if
decision.
the home has
mate.
been split up, whatever's going to pacify these kids, I'm going to have to try it, boy.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think also children and adults think we want something. We do it, we experience it. It's actually
It's
not
not
what we
that
want.
bad.
Well, it's not what we want. Sometimes we might, you know, like, for example, now some of the kids might choose dad. Dad's not here as much. When dad comes home, it's so fun.
Yeah.
Dad's playing football. Dad's being crazy.
Right. When dad's got the primary child rearing
Yeah.
responsibilities.
But when dad's not here all the time
Yeah.
and you're at home and you can't get picked up from school and you haven't got dinner cooked,
Yeah.
you might actually think, oh, actually,
Yeah.
I quite like it with mum.
Yeah.
I think naturally as children, we go towards the easy life.
Yeah. The structure,
Yeah.
the routine.
Yeah. Well, this is funny because we had this conversation like a couple of years ago with the kids, and Tia went, "Yeah, I think I live with dad." Like, obviously, by the way, this is
You
her dad.
physically
It was like a dagger to the heart. I was so angry.
Kill
By the
me,
way,
then.
how dare I be angry because I'm their stepmom? But I was,
Uh,
I felt like a dagger to the
no,
heart.
okay, I don't like that.
And then I went, yeah. And then dad won't be there. He'll be at work. You won't be having a really deep chat with him, and he'll forget like this and this, and you'll come and live with me. And she went, yeah, you're right. I went, exactly.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you just think of like the easy things straight away.
Yeah.
Not that we like to, you know, tell our kids who you're going to live with if we break up, because we're not breaking
Yeah,
up.
but I'll give you the reality.
But actually, it's just I think maybe if she thinks of it as not always a permanent thing, like let the kids be free to make the decision, as heartbreaking as that will be.
Yeah.
And then be you, stay strong as yourself, and see where they flow to.
Definitely.
I'm a great believer in like, you'll be seen for who you are.
Yeah.
If you have good intentions
Yeah.
and a pure heart, I feel like the path is cleared and people see you for who you are, and it works how it's meant to in the end.
Absolutely
believe in that as
agree.
well.
Yeah, absolutely agree.
But we
and
agree
like,
on something.
yeah. And creating like, focusing on creating a really joyful, happy, healthy, balanced environment. If that's across two homes, then that's across two homes. But the
Yeah.
focus is on the happiness of the family and the well-being of
Oh
the
my
family
gosh. I
and
just wish I
centering that.
knew what their relationships were like before and how the kids took it.
I think the initial separation, for whatever reason, is so difficult on the children.
Yeah.
However you separate, through death, through divorce, you know.
However,
Then to create another family, which you think is going to be your forever family, for siblings to make bonds, parents to make, step-parents to make bonds with children, and then that to split, that scares me about the effect that has on the children and how the children might think, well, life isn't.
I don't believe in coupling. I don't believe in love. Like, I don't, it's just a lot.
It is a lot.
It's too much.
Like the thought, of, I think as a parent, like my number one priority would always be, I hate saying step sibling, but you know, the children that aren't fully biologically related remain at the centre of what we do, that they always have a relationship.
Yeah.
But naturally, living between different houses or that being split up, it is going to change.
Into new relationships. And you might just marry an evil stepmom and she's just like, no, the children are with us now.
No, that could never be allowed. Surely not.
It oh, please. It happens
No, I know
all
it
the
happens.
time.
But that is so crazy. I think the children and their relationship is a priority. But I see a lot that, say, for example, you become a stepmom, you know, you take on these kids, you have them for 8 years, you love them like your own, and then the other parent says you can't have any access to them. I just can't comprehend that.
Yeah.
Because I find it hard that you can be such a massive part of someone's life,
and then
parent them, look after them, like you love them with your whole heart. That is like a form of grieving. It's like losing a child.
For sure.
But it's not recognised as that. And I think that's what's difficult, because with being a step parent, you're expected to take it on quickly and
let it go quickly. Yeah.
But it's not recognised as grief, really, and a loss.
It is a loss, a massive one. And it's that for the children as well. Like, even me, like, I've had 2 stepmoms, like, in my life, and maybe an unofficial stepdad. I'm not blending with none of you lot. If my parents ever got with someone again, regardless of my age now, that's your relationship. Just drop me out of it. I don't need to be involved
because
I don't know whether you're staying or going.
Yeah.
I'm not even about to even consider calling you a dad or whatever. Like, just chill with my mum, treat her well. You chill with my dad, be happy. Trot me out of it. When I need money, give it to me.
Put me in the wheel.
Put me in the wheel. Drive me around. Make it good for me.
But you're joking though,
we don't
right?
have to be in love.
No, she's not.
We don't have to be in love. No, I don't have to love this man. I don't have to love this woman. This is it. But this is a part of, like, the brokenness of...
That's broken. That's broken behaviour.
So
that's complete trauma.
Yeah.
That's complete trauma.
I won't deny it.
Response behaviour.
I won't deny it. And I also feel like because
that's
of the
why
way...
I love you, because you're just like...
But yeah, first of all, I am Coach Cilla, but I'm human.
Who you are, yeah.
And so I've got flaws, I've got chips as well. Like, yeah, and sometimes I project, absolutely. But the fact of the matter is the way that I was raised, I have trauma and I have trauma responses. And the reason why people think I'm
sorry, can I just apologise as well? I'm not saying like, oh my God, that's trauma response. It's a bad thing. I'm just saying like...
No, but it is...
Yeah, but it's dread,
what
isn't
it
it?
is.
It's dread.
It is what it is.
So
yeah,
dread.
Absolutely. And like, obviously, I could relate it crying and then people might feel me a bit more. But to me, it just is what it is. And I'm married now. I've got kids. I don't need to express that trauma anymore. It's like, do your thing. But as well, I think for a long time, and I'm still like getting over it now, I've been so hyper independent. And I think this is in part why I didn't mind being a single mum. I wanted the nuclear family for my child, but also I'm not trying to like pop pills at night because I'm now a single mum. It never meant to be this way. Because I was raised with a hyper independent woman that made me hyper independent. And I've come to learn that hyper independence is a trauma response as well.
See, I think that my mum is single and she has been for years, and my dad and I have a stepmom as well. And I think it's really important to see them have those relationships and welcome that as well. Although the thought of it scares me, like my mum meeting someone else. No, sorry. I want my mum to meet someone else.
Yeah.
But it just scares me of who they might be and letting them into the family. I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
But that, I would welcome another granddad for my children.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind either. But I don't see him as my dad. You can see him as granddad, but to me, I see him and like.
But you wouldn't work. No, I would never see him as my dad. But you wouldn't.
Or parental
would you
figure,
embrace
not
that
at this age.
You wouldn't.
And this is what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm not flawed. I'm not saying I haven't had trauma or whatever. I'm just telling you what it is for me right now.
No, I hear that.
I don't know if I have the capacity at this age of 36 to look at somebody, like look at another adult and say, you're going to fill spaces that weren't filled before.
It's different when you're grown up. You know what people are like.
Yeah.
It's different. Like, it is hard.
You're less trusting, less naive, less...
I've got
less
so many
expectations.
different, I've got
Expectations.
so
I
many
just don't
different hats
expect
on here.
much.
Because it's like when you got the young children, nurture them, look after them, you know, be everything to them. I've got a stepmom. I've had a couple of stepmums and my stepmom is lovely. I don't have that motherly relationship with her. She's my dad's partner. She's really lovely.
She's cool, yeah.
She's cool.
Yeah.
But we don't have that kind of maternal thing going on. And I'm fine with that.
I think, yeah.
So it's that kind of, I'm fine
That's
with that.
what it is,
However,
really.
Yeah.
if my mum met someone, I also would welcome them being all in there with me, a man, and looking after me. However, at the same time, I'm cool with what it is if you're nice and we're good and we're happy.
Yeah, and if
That's
you don't want to be like a parental figure towards me, I probably prefer it that way.
Yeah.
I just feel
It
like
would be weird
at
at
my
this stage.
age.
Would it be weird?
Yeah,
Probably.
like,
If someone come now
Yeah.
and like
I'm
say
your
in
new
this
daddy,
world,
back
no,
off.
if like your
I'm
dad
joking.
met someone and you had children and she was so lovely,
I would not trust her because she's
wouldn't
with
you?
my dad.
No, say that.
That's another
But if
angle.
my mum met someone
That's
Yeah.
another
and he was
angle.
really lovely and he was like
And he
paternal,
cared and he
I
loved you and
wouldn't
he was-
even know how to respond
Yeah,
to that.
and he would like,
I wouldn't know
so
what to do.
proud of you. Like he's just seen that you're on here, and he's like, I'm so proud of you.
I'd cry every day.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'd cry every
Because it's
time he
because
shows me love.
It's because of what we're missing.
Yeah.
We can't deal with it when it's given to us.
Yeah. I would
Because
love,
we
I
don't know
would
how
love
to
that.
receive it. Because all of us here, my dad's in my life now, but it wasn't so much when I was younger.
Yeah.
Now when like Rio or anything is so loving to me,
Yeah.
I just don't know how to handle it sometimes.
Same.
Because I'm like not used to a
Same.
man treating me like this.
Yeah.
And then maybe I'm not as, I don't respond in the way that I should sometimes because
Yeah.
I'm just like, wow, I don't know what this feels like.
I feel like I've been working through this thing recently where like I feel like I have to earn it from my husband. Like I have to earn his love, or
But
like
yeah.
if it just comes out of nowhere, I'm like,
Why have you done that?
yeah,
What have you done?
What's going on?
This
What's
is
going
so
on?
bad.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why have you done that? What have I done? What have you done? Have you done something wrong? And he's like,
just-
you're in the you're fucked
Coming
up from
from a-
being young.
yeah,
from
coming
young.
from trauma.
And you think
Yeah.
when someone's nice to you, they want something else because they've done
Yeah.
something wrong.
Well, they're
and you just
manipulating
accept
you.
the love.
Yeah.
For me, my husband's like, I am here, you can just ask me for help. Like I'm here for you kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like, why are you struggling? Like, just kind of ask me. And I'm just like, I'm not struggling. Like I will ask you for help if I need, but I never do. And he's just like, why are you making life hard for yourself?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I feel like the absence of like being raised in a 2-parent home has affected all three of us. Do you
Yeah.
Yeah,
understand?
for sure.
But
But I think it would have been worse if I was raised in the home.
and I don't want that for my
clear-cut-
kids as well.
Yeah, that clear-cut distinction. That distinction that people always make between, not you, but like other people always make with like, it's just better for a child to be in a 2-parent home. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not as a rule.
It's certain
In a
Circumstance
healthy,
dependent.
in a healthy 2-parent home, absolutely.
because I'm happy that my children are being raised in a 2-parent
Yeah.
home.
And what I
But
think
I don't
It's a
begrudge my
blessing.
mum.
Yeah.
What I think the thing is it's not necessarily about being raised in a 2-parent home. It's about having, if you have 2 present parents,
Two
whether they're in separate
cooperative,
homes,
loving,
present, that want what's
Yeah,
best
we
for
need
you.
to add more to the sentence.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's not about
more
them
adjectives.
actually living in a house.
yeah.
It's about having present, positive influences as parents in your life that are going to do what's best for you.
Yes.
Then you thrive as a child.
But also, I will say though, back to us like agreeing that we have to add some adjectives to that 2-parent home situation, is that throughout my growing up, I've seen dads that are present but not present. As like, I see you physically there,
Yeah.
but you don't know what I've been doing today. You don't know what's going on at school. You don't know if I could be sitting there crying and you have not clocked me at all because you're like on your phone or engrossed in work or something like that. So like, yeah, we need to like start changing the language, as in the want and the desire and the hope is that all children will grow up. And this is the same for step parents as well. Like if you're going to be a step parent to a child, like you want to be present, you want to be intentional, you want to be loving, nurturing, and you want to do everything that you possibly can to be that. Yeah.
But can I just say, and I think that's right, it's about being present as in not physically but emotionally.
Yeah.
However, just to add, I want to be present all the time. I want to be a present mum, but shit does happen. Like I'm organising stuff. A lot of my work's on my phone, and sometimes there is an overlap.
That's the exception, not the rule. That's not what we're talking about.
I think there's like so much pressure as well to be constantly present with your kids, but also be a working mum, be a businesswoman, be a good wife.
But I don't think that's the call.
Be a good friend, go to yoga, exercise.
I don't think that's
drink
the
your
call,
celery
though.
juice. No, but I've just been like, I think there's.
We don't have to internalize that message, because I'm not sure who actually said that. So many women are online saying that, oh, we're meant to have the babies, we're meant to get please the men.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Like in this day and age, who is actually telling us women that. And I feel like it's a messaging that we are internalizing and then pushing back on. I don't think it's that deep. Like in our everyday lives, like if you take a weekend, book yourself in a hotel and relax, I'm not sure who's telling you, oh, like,
what are you doing?
Why have you gone? Like, who told you it's bad?
It's deeply ingrained patriarchy that women also perpetuate. Like it comes from patriarchal society, but we also are so indoctrinated that we continue to perpetuate those stereotypes, place those expectations on ourselves, and place those expectations on other women.
Yeah.
So what we were saying earlier about we have all judged women who don't have primary custody of their children, that is our own internalized patriarchy.
Yeah.
That it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then at the same time, I feel like because of my worldview, again, back to like my Christian worldview, I see women working, like having a life.
Yeah.
And also being married and having children and having property and getting this money in and having help in the house. Like I see that in scripture. So for me, I just feel like, can't tell me nothing if I'm gonna go away for the weekend.
Yeah, I think this is actually a
I'm
whole
gonna
other
come and
episode
die.
about
It
like
is.
empowering women.
Yeah, for sure.
I can't come and die, yeah.
And
Like, why?
just like taking the pressure off ourselves. But I think this has been an unbelievable conversation today.
It's
and
been
I think
hard.
it's been hard
Sad.
Yeah.
and
I don't
sad.
like this conversation.
You don't like it?
No.
Shall we hug?
Because
Oh, she's
Give me a cuddle.
Auntie Storm is soft today. Oh my God.
Because like I still don't know what that babe should do.
Right, so how do we wrap this up?
It's such a painfully individual things to come to. Like, I just don't know what anyone could say to
Center
her.
the joy and the happiness of the children and the family.
Yeah,
in
and
whatever
follow
you do.
your gut.
Yeah.
Follow your gut. Because
Even that I don't think is
that gut
enough.
doesn't lie.
Take your probiotics and follow your gut.
I feel like if that was me, even still, I'd still be like, I don't know what to do.
Listen, maybe we haven't given you a clear answer, but by just listening to this, you might have heard yourself in what we're talking about, and you might be able to come to some kind of conclusion.
Hopefully.
We aren't actually, apart from Cilla, professionals at this. I'm
No,
definitely not.
I'm definitely
and that's
not.
Cilla is. So if we're
And I
giving you the
can't
wrong
help you.
advice, it is Cilla's fault, okay?
Can't help you, babe.
Do you have insurance?
No, but hopefully we've just, by talking about it
Yeah.
and having these open conversations, it helps. So I think Nats has given us a positive takeaway there. Centre everything around the happiness of the children.
Yeah.
I think that's the main thing.
Yeah.
So that is it for today's episode. If you are watching on YouTube, please remember to subscribe and send in all of your questions to the Blended Instagram. And we'll be here the same time next week. Lots of love. Mwah.